Hey Terranova, Lyle here.
And Dana.
And we're here to bring you another spiritual habit. This one we call the spiritual habit of intake. Now let's face it, we're intaking things all the time. Man, there's so much content out there. Binge watching TV, streaming movies, music on Spotify, and then there's this whole social media thing with Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I mean, the big question is it all healthy?
No, we've actually found out it's not healthy. Medical experts have shown that they've studied the amount of social media we take into our lives and the amount of mental health or anxiety we have, and it's actually 1-to-1. The more social media we take in, the more anxiety we experience.
So it's a big challenge, right? It's a challenge with what it is that we take in, and is it really bringing health and life to us? And you know, Jesus said something about that in Luke's Gospel, in Luke chapter 6, verse 45. Jesus says, he says, a good person brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart, and the evil person brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart. And then he says this, for the mouth speaks what the heart is full of.
Yeah, so what is our heart full of? Obviously, reading the Bible is good, but we've got a lot of other time in our life that we input into our lives. And it's so important, this intake of what other things that we're actually allowing in our lives, particularly books and music and podcasts.
Yeah, so what we want to do is to develop a spiritual habit of taking in good things through those three mediums.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about books first. And as we do, we're going to share with you a number of resources. They'll be in the notes, so you can check those out later. But as we start with books, I know I love authors that are just strong theologically, guys like C.S. Lewis and Dallas Willard, and then other authors that are actually a little bit easier to read, but also powerful. People like John Eldredge and Donald Miller.
Yeah, and some of the authors that I like are Jim Wilkins and Jenny Allen and Lisa Turquoise and Beth Moore. Those are some authors that I have really enjoyed the last few years.
Yeah, now maybe you're not a reader, so podcasts, man, that's a really great thing. Could be really good for you. There's some podcasts that we enjoy together, like the Carrie Nieuwhof Leadership Podcast. Yeah. It usually drops every Tuesday, every week, good stuff. There's a podcast called This Cultural Moment that I really enjoy. It's by two pastors, John Mark Comer and Mark Sayers. And then a new podcast I'm listening to is by Patrick Lencioni. It's called At the Table.
And those are good. Some of the ones that I have really enjoyed listening to lately are The Next Right Thing by Emily P. Freeman. She's got the most soothing voice, and it's really short. It's a really nice thing just to listen to. And also Rhythms of Life by Rebecca Lyons and Marked Podcast by Lifeway. And one I listen to every once in a while is called That Sounds Fun, just because sometimes you just need to have a little fun.
I know, I always do. Yeah, and speaking of fun, let's talk about music, because we should make listening to music that's good for us a real habit as well. I know for me, I like to build a station out of Elevation Worship. I've got that on my computer. It's great background music while I work.
And you know, I don't know a lot about different artists, but I usually listen to whichever one my sons put together, and that just is a real soothing.
They have good taste.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and that it's all like really Jesus-centered stuff, and so it's great. So as we wrap things up, you know, the big question is that we need to wrestle with together is how much time are we taking in the good stuff compared to the other stuff? And then we need to begin to make those course corrections, developing those habits of healthy intake. And so let's together do that. Let's together cheer each other on to have hearts full of good things that then pour out of our heart into our actions, into our words, bringing health to our lives and health to those around us.
Yeah. And not only that intake that we need of all these podcasts and different things, but we need some silence in our life too. And that'll be for the next video.
All right. And we'll be looking forward to that. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you soon.